when I told John I was coming for the graduation, he told me, you cannot come here and just go back to Nairobi without telling people, the community in UK about AMICA. And I asked him, so how do I know about it? And he said, no, we shall organize it. And together with Johnny Kadian, they decided to organize for this event. And I must say thank you very much for organizing this event. I did not know how to do it, and therefore I would have come, done the graduation, and gone back. But you were gracious enough to show us around, and we are really thankful and we really appreciate the way you have held our hands. We were actually in this hotel last Sunday when it took a bit of time here trying to organize for this event, and we are really very, very thankful that you have helped us this far. That is what friendship is about. And so thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for finding time to come and listen to me. I don't take it for granted, because for people to just leave everything else, to just come and listen to you, it means, first and foremost, they trust that there's something that you're going to say. And so I'm praying to God to help me that I don't waste your time, because it is going to be extremely bad for me to stand and waste your. And somebody has said you will be sleeping, at least sleeping, you will be resting, then you will get value from that rest, rather than to come and listen to somebody who is really wasting your time. So I would really not want to waste your time. I want to spend a bit of quality time with you, talking about this institution, and not just about this institution, more about money and yourself, you and money. And my economics class 101, I was told by my lecturer that money is the most scarce resource in the world. Money is never enough. I don't know, we hear people who work around here, you have enough, more than enough. Is that the truth? As we are struggling there in Kenya, hustling, we are told guys who earn money in the diaspora, in pounds or in dollars, have much more than we do. I don't know whether it is enough, Councillor, because you have told us you have been here for many years. I don't know whether you have enough. But Economics 101 says that money is the most scarce resource. And that is why money needs to be used very, very wisely. Pastors here, I was in church today here, and when we finished, we went to a room as visitors of that church today, and we were told about the programs that they have, midweek programs, and so on and so on and so forth. Connect programs that you meet over the week to study the Word of God, and so on and so forth. We were there. Day within the week, you're supposed to still meet and study the Word of God. But sometimes ask yourself, how many times are we taught about money? Just think about it. How many times are we taught about money? Yet, even when you read the Bible, you find the Bible talking about money a lot. Always the Bible. And Jesus Christ himself gave a lot of examples about money in the Bible. Money is important. Our lives revolve around money. And I like asking this question when I'm talking to people like you. Since you woke up, how have you been spending money? Since you woke up, how have you been spending money? Or have you not spent money since you woke up? Yeah. How? Which ways? Which ones? I want to hear. The egg in the morning. Before the egg. Before the toothpaste. Huh? Immediately you wake up, what's the first thing that you do? Switch on? You begin to spend money. Next, yeah? Shower, electricity. electricity, water bill, ironing your clothes, isn't it? This is even before you have brushed your teeth. And by the time you are brushing your teeth, you are using water, you are using the toothpaste. So you see, egg is very far. Breakfast is still very far. And you are still spending money. Then you go for breakfast. And the breakfast, there is a breakfast cooked using gas, there is electricity, there is all those items, milk, tea, coffee, water. All those are bills you are paying. All those are bills. After you finish, think about how many suppliers you will pay from the time you wake up before you have opened your door to go to work or to go to church. Think about how many suppliers. Immediately after that, you have to go start a car or use whatever means. Still spending money. By the time you come back home and you lie to retire for the night, you can imagine how much money you spend. And you ask yourself whether you are earning money at the same rate. Right? What do you need to get my presentation? You need to ask yourself whether you are spending money at the same rate. And therefore, it is very important that you take care of the money that you earn. And that is why we are talking about empowering your dreams. We are talking about investing safely back home. Because you know this money that you have earned, it is hard-earned money. And so when it comes to investing hard money, it needs to be invested carefully. It needs to be invested safely. Because when you lose that money, yes, you can move it. When you lose that money, it takes you back, very, very far. You begin from negative again, isn't it? So you must make sure that every shilling that you have earned is well taken care of. So I want to talk slightly about our journey as AMICA. Where did we begin? This institution was about 60 years old. It was started in 1966, founded in 1966 by our forefathers who were farming coffee in Muranga district. So this institution was founded as Muranga District Cooperative Union. So those of us who come from those sides of Muranga, the equivalent of a union. Anyone who remembers a union? That one. It was started by our grandfathers. It was started by, and those days, if you have the statistics, Muranga coffee was contributing about 50% of coffee produced in Kenya. And so, those days you even hear that Muranga was doing very, very well. It was even lending money to the government. So, and the biggest contributor of that economy was the institution called Muranga Union. Now, 1977, we started what is called the banking section, union banking section. Now, within the union, the coffee union, you know, after the coffee is harvested, goes to the society, it is processed, it goes to the market. When the money comes back, that money is supposed to be taken to the farmer, isn't it? Now, there was what is called the union banking section, which was then the one that was responsible of ensuring that the farmer gets the money finally. And that is when that the union banking section was registered. Now, in the 1997, I think there's a date there, 1997, there is a new law that came to Kenya, the cooperative law, that required cooperative societies to become single purpose entities. Because now this entity was involved in the production of coffee, it was involved in marketing of coffee, drying of coffee, and all that, providing the farm inputs and all that. At the same time, it was providing banking services to the farmers. So now, it was required that now the organization is split. And that is when an institution called AMICA SACCO, later MBUI SACCO, was formed. So that it left the union doing all the rest for the coffee farmers, and then the MBUI SACCO now became the financial institution that is supposed to take care of the financial needs of the farmers. That institution called MBUI SACCO is which will be the one that we branded in 2016, and we called it AMICA. MBUI is Fred, AMICA is also Fred in Latin. So we didn't really change much. We only changed the name from the Koyo name to. And there is somebody informed that I had just been hired as a CEO in 2014, late 2014, actually September of 2014. And when I looked at this institution, the first thing that we needed to do, we needed to diversify. Because all that I've been talking about this time is coffee, 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 coffee. And you know, by around this time, the coffee industry was not doing well. It was doing very, very badly. And so the institution itself was also affected because it was heavily dependent on coffee industry. And so when I came in, one of the things that I needed to do was to do diversification so that we begin to serve everybody within the economy. And number two, the name was not very good, it was not working for us because one is that everybody who looked at that name felt like, so if you are not a Kikuyu, then you are not welcome. Even the people within the central region said, anybody who is not from Muranga, that they seem like they are welcome. The people in Muranga who are not doing coffee said, hiyo ni benki ya watu wa kahawa. The young people say, hiyo ni benki ya kina Muka and Shosho because they are the ones who own coffee. So nobody wanted to be associated with this institution. So urgently, one of the things that we needed to fix was the name and the image. And so we had to brand ourselves from that name rather to AMICA. That is what we informed. And I will be showing you shortly, since that time, what has happened to this institution. This is our vision. We want to become a one-stop financial service provider. Our business is to offer innovative financial and accessible financial solutions for what is very important there, socio-economic well-being of our members. Now, we do not exist to make profits. That is not to say we exist to make losses. But we are not a profit-motivated institution, but a service-motivated institution. That is why our focus really is not to become a commercial bank. We have enough commercial banks in Kenya. If you look at these economies like even where we are, we have institutions called credit unions. Credit unions are very, very strong institutions in UK, in Europe, in Canada, in US. Very, very strong. In fact, I have statistics from our SASRA report. And you can see Kenya, I think we are number 9 in the world. But distant 9 mbali sana compared to, yet in Africa, Kenya is number one. In Africa, number one, na tumewacha wengine mbali sana, we are number one. But across the world, we are very far. Now, those institutions are not commercial banks. Those institutions provide financial services to the ordinary mwananchi in those communities. And that is what we want to become. That is why we wake up every day to give you financial solutions for your socio-economic well-being. And we say that we live to make your plans matter so that you can live better. And I'll be talking a lot about that. And those are our values right there. Now, in terms of numbers, 2014, because this is where I began my journey, our membership was 93,000. As we closed 2025, we were 219,000 members. Thank you. Now, 2014, our deposits were 1.1 billion. As we closed 2025 December, our deposits were 7.8 billion. Wow. Are we growing? Now, in terms of loan book, again we were at 1.1 billion end of 2014, December 2025, 9.2 billion. So all the money we have received to Berudisha, back to members in form of loans. In 2014, our total assets was 1.9 billion, and close of business December 2025, we were at 10.7 billion. I want you to see something interesting here. 2014, we were 1.9 billion. What is the difference between growth in 2024 and 2025?
9 billion.
No, 2 years, 2024 to 2025. What is the growth?
8 billion.
2 billion. It is 2 billion.
8.
Yeah?
8 billion. 2 billion.
2 billion, isn't it? 2 billion is the total we had 10 years ago. That's what I wanted you to see, that in just 1 year, we were able to grow at 2 billion, which is what we were worth 10 years ago. So the institution is growing. We are getting more support from our members, and we really want to thank them and you people here for that support. Now, 2014, we were doing a revenue of 224 million a year. Last year, we did revenue of 1.5 billion. So you are also able to see that exponential growth. I'm showing you these numbers so that then you are also able to appreciate what kind of institution that we are talking about. So that is how our performance has been. Now, in terms of offering these are the products that we offer, we have current accounts. Current account is that you are sending money to your account, which you send money and you can withdraw, and you can operate it whichever way. Deposit, withdraw. It's current account. That's simply what it means. And I will show you how you can do that. Then we have savings accounts. Like we have savings accounts for children, we have and others. Then we have what we call investment account, like one product that we call investor account. Many people know about investor account, and again I will talk a lot about that investor account. Again, shares is also an investment account, because it gives you a return and a good return. So those are the ones we call investment accounts. Then we have various loan products like Professor Agash talked about Maziwa loan. We have development products, development loans. We have business loans. We have very many different types of loans. And because I'm talking to people in diaspora, One of the things that I need to say is that we have been giving lately a lot of many people loans who are in the diaspora, and we are able to accept your payslips provided as a form of evidence that you have income. So you should not get worried that we will not. If you give us your bank statement, you give us evidence that you have an income, your payslip, and so on, we accept that as income. You also could also be having income abroad, back at home. You could be having some rental income. You could also be having some other forms of income. We actually take all that as income and we consider them when we are giving you a loan. So you don't have to get worried that we have no way of verifying. We are actually able to verify your income abroad. We also have a subsidiary, one called AMICA Insurance Agency. We have an agency which we are converting into SACCO assurance. According to the law, we will be converting that into SACCO assurance. So we offer different types of products, and that's why we had a very good discussion last Sunday with Badview, so that we can also sell their products, because microinsurance is something that is taking a lot of attraction in Kenya. Many people down there do not have insurance. Medical is one problem that people have. Somebody talked about funeral expenses. People need to be given this is the send-off. We have a product where we charge our members 1,000 shillings per head per year, and they access 100,000 shillings in case of demise. But when we looked at the rates that are being offered by Badview, they are much lower. And so, yes, we want as many people as possible to actually be this program. Thinking about people going to their shopping centers and accessing medical care by just using a card without necessarily paying. Those are some of the discussions we are actually having with this Badview to see whether actually can do what I have just said, matters of socio-economic empowerment of our members, because that is what is important. I jumped AMICA Ventures a little bit there. Of course, I will talk a little bit about them thereafter. But there is a lot we have been doing with our subsidiary called AMICA Ventures. We have been selling a lot of products. As you can see, we have issued over 1,000 title deeds for the 10 years that we have existed. We have over 5,000 clients who have accessed loans. We have had about over 28 projects since, and I will be talking a little bit about them a little bit later as I finish. Now, who are those people that we serve? We serve farmers, we serve business people, we serve people who are employed, we serve institutions, we serve groups like Weather, and we serve people in the diaspora market. Now, how do we understand your needs? One is that we believe that we are a secure and convenient platform for you people to save and to invest. And I'll talk a lot about that. You are able to send money back home to your kids safely. You are able to invest back home, and we'll be talking about how and where and how to invest. Reliable, and we can reliably manage your projects. We realize that sometimes people in the diaspora have got a lot of problems because they don't have time. I see my cousin here, every time he has an opportunity to rush home, he rushes home. And I can always tell every time he's coming back, he has not had enough of what he wanted to do. So, especially when we're doing some projects like construction and so on, we are coming up with a program where we can actually do that on your behalf without you having to really have to, entrust people that you're not very sure whether really Because when you have a relationship with an institution, and that institution has the capacity to do that, then you relax. You don't have to really, run around even when you do not have time. Then, how can we also help you to fund projects back at home? You want to build, you want to take up projects, right? The projects we have seen here, some of the examples, how do we come in to assist you do that? Now, for you to join us, you need to get into that, what is it called? That link. We have a code. You can scan that QR code. You're able to scan that QR code. Can you scan it? It should be able to guide you on how to become a member. So you don't need to fill in papers. It will ask you for information, your name, your ID, your all that, and then you will join and become a member. And we'll be discussing a little bit more about that as we go on. So how do you deposit money? Through M-Pesa, especially for our investor product. Treasurer Wakweza, yes. You know, instead of sending money, then it has to move from your current account to the other account. If you're sending money directly for savings for investments, you just now need to use this number, 4035151, and your money goes directly. If it is you just want to invest it in the investor account, send money directly to that account. So that is from your M-Pesa account, you enter that number, and then the money goes directly to you. Otherwise, if you are sending money to the other account, it is a 4298298. 4298298, and the money goes to your current account, and you can actually withdraw it through any other way. Now, how do you access your money? We have an app. Once you become an account holder, you become a member, you register into an app. That app enables you to deposit and withdraw money. That app gives you all your balances. In fact, when you get into the app, one of the things that you see there moving are your balances. Your savings balances, your loan balances, your current account balances, your loan balances. You just see those balances. If you want to see your bank statement, you actually can be, especially if it is a mini statement, you actually can see the last few transactions very easily. You want to borrow, you actually can borrow the little monies, what we call AMICA loans, through that. And you can transfer funds. If you want, even through from AMICA to any other person in any other bank that you want to pay. Because it simply asks you, transfer the money to another bank, you say yes. Then it asks you which bank. Then you find all those banks listed there. You select the bank, you enter the account number, inakuuliza what amount, unaweka pesa, and that money goes to pay that person, whichever bank it is in Kenya. So you can be able to transfer up to 900, almost 1 million shillings, send money to another person, and you also can be able to send money through RTGS. Those are options that you find for you to access money. Also, we have what we call USSD, *298 hash. Again, you will be able to withdraw or deposit money. Members portal, you can be able to access your balances or your bank statement. You get a loan calculator to calculate even for you how, if I want to borrow 1 million shillings, the loan calculator will even show you how much installment to pay. Then again, we have a Visa card, and that Visa card works if you want to use it to buy goods or to withdraw money and whatever. It is Visa card, it works even here abroad. Now, I want us to talk a little bit about money. And I have got that question there that I may need answered by one or two people. Yes, that's question Peter Kairong. What is the question?
Where do you work?
Yes.
Of course, to make money and to do a decent business.
Okay. I'll help yourself by answering the second one. Because if you had stopped at making money, then I would really have wondered. After you have made money, then what? Pastor, why do you work?
Okay, is that the beginning?
I work for
You can just go from the beginning.
family upkeep and also for the future.
That is my
My family generation.
The future of your family and your generation, and for your family upkeep. He made a lot about themselves.
That is not
It's about where you work.
another one.
Okay, I try to work to make
That's
the
another
life a
thing.
bit simpler,
That I
so that tomorrow will be better than today.
So that tomorrow will be better than today.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about future. Somebody else wants to try? A lady, give the lady behind you.
I'm saying to spend, invest, and give.
Spend,
Invest and give.
invest, and give.
Yeah.
You are give to who?
Well, in life we're all required to give as much as we are increasing in wealth, so that is part of life.
Yeah, very good. Asante sana. Spend, invest, and give. Let's see what we think ourselves. When we work, the reasons we work is about meeting our financial or our goals in life. Forget about the word financial. Our goals in life. And if you have listened to those people, whatever they are talking about is about meeting goals in life. What are those goals? And those goals usually, because of the statement I started with, those goals are usually financial related. In fact, your life goals is almost equal to financial goals. Because you cannot be able to meet those goals without money. And therefore you must work, look for that money. Once you get that money, then you do what? You meet basic needs. Pastor here has told us about basic needs. Madam here is telling about spending. Spending is not what is important. If you are spending it on what? Basic needs. Basic needs are the ones and the things we talked about, isn't it? From the time you wake up to now, all those are basic. Most likely nobody has invested today. This is Sunday, we are relaxed. Isn't it? But you have been spending money since morning. Even now, yes, you're spending money. You know, I will not be able to go out of this door if I don't pay the bills here. Isn't it? Spending money all the time. Meet basic needs. Education for your children. Ask me, I can tell you. I came here for a graduation, for a master's program. John, we want a party. Your UK so education for your children are paid for. So for us, very expensive. Very, very expensive, especially higher education. It's an important financial goal. Before I talk about security, home ownership. How easy is it even to own a home here? It's not easy to own a home anywhere around the world, isn't it? It's not easy, and it is a life goal that every normal human being has. Now, growing your wealth all of us are always thinking about becoming wealthy. The word of God says, a wealthy man gives back the inheritance to his children. So if you're just leaving something to your children, you are not wealthy. You must be talking about the second and third generation. Not the next generation from yourself. So everybody, normal human being, wants to be wealthy. So how do you accumulate wealth? And we will still be talking about that. Everybody wants to be financially secure. Can you be financially secure and you're not wealthy? How? Or you're just meeting your bills. If you're just meeting your bills, are you financially secure?
No, because you have no future.
What happens if something slightly happens and that source of income is removed? What happens? It means you're not financially secure. Isn't it? Yes, you're not financially secure. Retirement. Everybody is concerned about how they will live when they will not have the ability to wake up and go and work. And sometimes I ask the question, do people who are not employed retire?
Yes.
They retire. My retirement is about now in Kenya, age 60, you do not have a payslip, you have retired. Unafika mahali, that's what I was looking for. You get a point where you can no longer work. Isn't it? And you have retired. Yeah. Even in business, I met that friend of mine, Karibi, who comes from where was the Taskis, neighbors. Hari wazee wa neighbors walitoka Kitale. And at some point, those wazee handed over the business to who? To the next generation, isn't it? And thank God that business is still continuing. But you have seen other businesses, similar business, like Taskis, which is history today. And Nakumat. And others. And it's a question that we also have to ask ourselves as Kenyans. Do we have a problem in the way we plan for the inheritance of our next generation? Because a lot of businesses of us Kenyans, they end with us. Mama, is that? Like that? Is it like that? Yeah? It is true. And even when they do not end with us, they don't go beyond the next generation. When you look at people, Asians, do you see a difference? What do they do differently?
First of all, they introduce to their children as early as possible.
They introduce these things to their children very early.
And they mentor them.
The question is, Professor Agat was mentored in business by his parents. Unaona akiwa hapa akona ng'ombe nyumbani. kweli.
Ni ukweli, chai tulilazimika.
Chai. My friend here. Yeah, he's a very good dairy farmer. You see, the question is, are we able to take that beyond your generation? And what kind of systems and structures are you putting in place to ensure that these businesses go beyond that? So I'm talking about legacy. Imeshikanisha hiyo legacy na retirement. But you must ask yourself, that day that you are not going to be waking up and going to that business every day, will you still eat, drink, access medical care, and will your life be able to go on without you being physically active? That question is an important question. Why do we work? And as we work, things are taken care of. So, who is that person? Who is that person called a successful person? Karen.
Success is relative. Depends on your definition. It means something.
Which is that definition that I want to make?
It means a different thing for different people.
It means different things for different people. Like for you? Impact. Someone was speaking. Someone was saying something. How does a successful person look like?
He's a person. Yeah, I was saying. He's a person who is able to overcome the barrier of the need that is ahead of him or ahead of me. That need, like the one that you were showing us there, it is ahead of me. So I have to work and overcome to get to the other side. So it will not be ahead to me because already I've worked, I've earned, and I've overcome it. So I'm busy. So I have the success because I've overcome the way outside of it.
Big English. I hope I understood. Yes, a successful person.
To me, I can say a successful person. To my understanding, a successful person is a person who's no longer working, the money is working for the person.
It's not.
The person is no more working, but the money is working for the person.
Yes, the money is working for you.
Yeah.
If the money is working for you, you are a successful person.
Yeah, because I can go.
I give the good to money.
I can see a successful person is the one who have almost achieved what you have demonstrated therefore as a successful person. You have almost achieved
all the things I was talking about. If you have achieved all of them,
almost there,
almost there, you are a successful person.
You will be free to be a bit successful.
Next. Yes. All of the things we are talking about are true. A successful person for me looks like that. This person is somebody who is well spiritually, emotionally, socially, physically, financially. Is that true? If you are missing any of these, are you successful? Yes. If you are missing any of these, remove any we see, and we try and see whether you are successful. And we remove emotional wellness, and you still be successful.
No. No.
No.
Yes.
You will not be successful. What about if you are not socially well? Yeah? They say you are your net worth is your network is your net worth. Isn't it? Now, assuming I was coming to UK and I be having this meeting? So you need to have friends, family, networks, connections. That if I have a problem at home, who can I call? You can't have somebody you can call, you don't relate to anyone, you have a lot of problems. Again, if you are sick, even if you really wanted to work, sickness can force you to just retire even high, isn't it? Yeah. So you do not have ability to make, you just become a consumer of money. Again, if you are not in touch with your maker, all these things become vanity.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a matter of it can be a matter of a second, and you are no more useless, and all the money you're looking for, and all the big cars, and all the big houses, and everything, too useless. Reality of life. But now that financial wellness takes you back to the things that we have been talking about. Go back to that. Now, if you do not have ability to take care of your basic needs, educate your children, you don't even have a retirement package, you have not accumulated any savings, you don't have a home, you know, all these things. And there is a lot we can talk about when we talk about financial wellness. Now, in financial wellness, these are things that you need to think about. Is that one simple thing there called budget? We sometimes don't take it very seriously. But if you think about it seriously, you realize that it's a very, very important tool, because a budget is simply a plan. And this thing, that tool, is what runs countries and nations. When you hear Trump saying, I have cut that budget, I have cut that budget, I have cut that budget, America first. He's using that tool. Is it? Yes. And all countries, in Kenya we are always complaining that we are over-borrowing. I don't want to sound political, but the current president, when he came in, he told us Kenya can depend on its own resources. Did they say that?
Yes.
But how much have they borrowed in about 3-4 years? So, personally, as somebody who is who understands a little bit of economics, not too much, I kept hoping that this person has some magic he's going to use to get this country to run without alone borrowing at all. And I was really happy. But I kept waiting. Because you see, before you seriously think about that item called budget, isn't it? And exactly, because it's borrowing or not borrowing is not a statement. It is balancing your incomes and expenditure. Whether those expenses are recurrent expenses or they are for development expenses. Even in your own personal life. All the things we have talked about there, the basic needs, those are basic needs at Chilasiku. The moment you start thinking about them, educating your children, again, it goes slightly past basic needs, isn't it? The moment then you begin to talk about owning a home, now begin to go to the development side of things. Isn't it? But when you begin talking about investing for your future, investing for retirement, becoming wealthy, the conversation is still changing. See where? Because you begin with the basics, the day to day. Then there are important things like education for your children. Then you begin to think about, so when I retire, these guys are not with me, and they will go and live their own lives, I will be alone. So how will I retire? You have to have some programs to take care of that. Alright? So at that point, then you begin to think about long-term investment. So those long-term investments, what kind of investments are they going to be? So you must factor all those things in your budget, and by doing that, you will be addressing yourself to issues of savings and investing there. And you'll be looking at then how will I retire? Because if you don't address yourself to those things, you will have a problem. So you must look at all your financial goals. You must think about how to manage debt, because this one is a big one. Anyone who thinks managing debt is a big one? Because if countries are struggling with debt, even us, for the last over 30 years, I've been working in the SACCO sector. And almost on a daily basis, for all those years, I am having a discussion with somebody about a loan. Even as I sat here, Councillor, I have a lot of projects I can do at home. I think we need to have a discussion. Of course, we never went into the details, but definitely the issue of debt most likely will come in for you to be able to achieve what you should have achieved in 10 years. In order to achieve it now, you need to make use of debt. So as you take debt, you need to be very, very careful. You must ask yourself whether that debt really makes sense. I will tell you, I have seen many Kenyans, because like Kenyans, we like putting up houses for rental, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You see, somebody has bought a plot, like now you guys are here abroad, a plot somewhere, and then you do some money and say, I can go and borrow some 50 million and put up this flat. That flat gives you something like even 500,000, 700,000. And you think, it's really making a lot of sense. But I can tell you, if you're not careful, you buy the Peter goes on a bank. Yes, that is the truth. Because it will take you not less than 15 years for that house to pay that loan. Then it begs the question, so why was I building it in the first place? If for 15 years I'm not going to get anything, it cannot even pay school fees for my child, even for one term. So, you were told that, like, associated, I am a well-known guy. Eh? And in a Nyumba, we are counselor. Lakini counselor cannot give pay school fees for his child from that house. And I can tell you this is a reality. Go and check. It's only that people do not talk because they made a mistake. So they are struggling here alone. Is that not true? It is a problem. It's a very big problem. Because how are we? So when you go to take debt, first of all, look at how that debt is structured. Look at how a debt that you can pay as fast as possible is a very good debt. Sure. Especially if you are an employee and you see somebody giving you a debt past 5 years, and in 10 years, like you see in Kenya, a lot of salaried people now want to take loans for 10 years, they want to take loans for 12 years, my friend.
You'll be a prisoner of that day.
You have become a prisoner, isn't it? But because the competition is like that, all of us are offering those long-term loans because that is what the market is demanding. But in reality, that individual becomes a what?
A prisoner.
A slave or a prisoner of that financial institution. So as you get into debt, you need to think very, very carefully about what you're doing. If you can diversify your income as much as possible, the better. The older you become, the more diversification you require. By the time you get to 40, 50, and your only income is your payslip, you are not even waiting for a dividend like now SACCOs are declaring dividends. You are not even waiting for anything to talk about. You don't even have a mango tree where you can harvest trees like now is mango season in Kenya and get some money. You do not have a side hustle where you sell some shoes online or whatever. The income is just the same. Then, if things go wrong, then you can also find yourself in a big problem. Please ensure you are as financially literate as possible. Some of these things I'm talking about, we rarely hear them. Yet they affect us. Yeah? They affect our lives every other day. It is important that you become financially literate. Matters insurance. You can do all these things, but if you do not insure yourselves properly, these things can crash in just one day. But an insurance becomes a good fallback.
Sure.
But look at us. I don't know whether it is like it is the way it is here in UK. In Kenya, especially us men, will make sure that our cars are properly insured. It's called what insurance? Comprehensive insurance. But we do not have insurance for medical. We don't have insurance for the other important things. You don't even have insurance for your home. You don't have insurance for all those other things, but the car is comprehensively insured. Sometimes not because you can also do that party in Kenya, but you find men who comprehensively insure their car, but they forget everything else. And all those other things are important because then, in case of a tragedy, then you can be restored back, at least to some reasonable extent. Are we together? That is important. Now, I want to quickly talk about time horizons, different stages of life, and how you should be behaving and how you should be planning for your finances. Now, I am beginning from people who are in this age of 20 to 29, children and teenagers. They are there, I can see them in this hall. So you find these people, they want to spend a lot of time in very expensive lifestyles. Like in Kenya, when they begin working, they buy Subarus. Akikupita bika. That car, everybody is like, What that gentleman does not know is that nobody even knows who is inside. But if he thinks he's making a point, that's where they begin. These people are in quick loans. These people are not saving. These people are living beyond their means. In Kenya, it's also becoming a problem that a lot of them don't even want to leave the homes of their parents. I don't know whether it is the case here. You find a guy is 35, back home. You get? Others are in beer. They have become drunkards. Yeah? They are not even getting married. One or two. And then comes back home. Anaingia kwa kitchen ya mamake, anatafuta whatever mamake aliwacha hapo, anakula, analala, they are very. But this age is an age that as parents we need to continue guiding these people because they need to begin getting financially literate. Beginning to think about their future. Even creating some gradual savings, some emergency fund, thinking about retirement even as early as you begin to work. But a lot of them, they are like, hey, what are you talking about? Retirement. When I am 30, you should not even be having that kind of discussion. What are you talking about? What they do not realize that the time passes so fast that before you wait, you are 30 today, the next day you are 40. Before you know it, you are 50. As I did like yesterday when you were 30, or even 25. So you can remember the day you got married. Vividly. Huh? Senior? How because you are 50, you can't remember the day you got married. I was telling your wife yesterday, even you know where your wedding was, and I came. And she tells me 25 years. At least how she did not see me, I saw her. It just looks like yesterday, isn't it? So if you are 25, then you are now 50. Isn't it? But it just looks like. So time moves so fast. So we also need to be able to educate these young people to start thinking about these things. Are you together? Not just wasting opportunities. You have a good job, you don't know whether you still have a good job tomorrow. And that hiyo kidogo uko nayo. I remember when I started working myself, because I started working in the SACCO, I could see myself, they come and fill in an application form, they take some loan of 10,000, at that time it was around 1991, 1992, and I could ask myself, will I ever be able to borrow a loan myself? And I started pushing myself to save, pushing myself to save, pushing myself to save, pushing myself to save. And I was able to save about 7,000 shillings. And I took a loan of 21,000. When I bought a plot somewhere in Utawala. That time Utawala kulikuwa kichaka. Even 10 years later, you still could not go there. Even 20 years later, until finally the bypass, Eastern bypass passed there. And we used to that plot today is about 500 shillings. We got titles like 5 years ago. For 30 years is when I bought the plot. But at least when I look back, when I was in this age, there is something I did. Though small, but today, if I didn't need, let's see, there's 5 million, I can go get 5 million somewhere. But I invested it when it was 20,000. So look at that rate of appreciation. Do something. Don't say I will do nothing. Do something when you are a young person. however small it may be, but just do something. Now, this age, people who are beginning to become stable in life, they are stabilizing, they now have a good job, they are between 30 and 39 years, they are beginning to settle, but these are people who have, the biggest problem they have is this thing called competing interests. And they want to be like their neighbors. That is the biggest problem that this age group is suffering from. Because they have seen their neighbor driving a big car. They also want to drive a big car. Because they have seen their neighbor taking their children to international schools. They also want to take their child to international school, where they are paying fees of how much? 500 and above, 500,000 in a term. So you find, because of the decisions they are making, they are ending up very poor people. Yes, they are looking okay, but they are penniless. And because they make certain decisions that they find it very difficult to reverse. Because now you have taken your child, like there are many parents in Kenya who are taking their children to the British system. Then they realize somewhere along the way this thing is unbearable. And I have seen even friends of mine. It becomes very difficult because now this child is already used to this system. How do you go back? And then you are realizing a withdrawal of it, all your money, in fact you are struggling to pay. So how do you change from that system to the other system? And when you change, what does it mean to the child? Are you together? And let me tell you, it may look like you are earning a lot of money. A Kenyan average who is earning a lot of money is earning how much? Averagely, a Kenyan who is in high paying job. 200 years. So if you are even assuming he is earning 500, let's assume he's earning 500. Tax is 30%. So 30% of 500 is 150, isn't it? And what you now? 350. So can this person sustain a child in an international school? Because in international school, the least that you can do, I think, in a term about 400, 500,000. Total more than that's what for me. Now, it means per term, if it's 500,000, it's about 150, 200, isn't it? So remove 350 to your batch, you could go up 200 and 150. So where do you think this person is staying? For them to take the child to international school, where are they staying? Kilimani wants to stay in Kilimani, they want to stay in some good neighborhood where they are paying rent of about 70 plus. Yeah? And they have been left with about 150 now, isn't it? This person is what kind of a car are they driving? But the car is still on road, isn't it? So how much are they paying per month for this road? Are you clear that? So has this person been able to pay the money? Remember, he has not fed his child, his family. He has not bought them food, basics that we talked about. He has not done those. The sasa wewe pastor umekaa hapa unangoja huyu mtu anakuletea time. See, that's the expectation you have. But you realize where the problem is. The problem is that it's not that these people do not love God. was in church today and I had the subject matter. It's the same everywhere. It's not that these people do not love God, but it is the decisions they are making in their lives that are impacting negatively on everything. This is where the problem is. So these people here at this age, this is where these people need to be advised very, very well. To be very moderate and to make the decisions they are making. And by the way, this time I'm not even talking about financial decisions. I'm simply saying life decision. Because taking your child to a BG system is a life decision. First of all, I'm not talking about money. You must then ask yourself, how much does that decision cost me? Buying a Prado is a life decision. How much does it cost me? Living in this neighborhood or the other neighborhood is a life decision. How much does it cost me? Getting a mortgage or not getting a mortgage is a life decision. Buying a plot and building slowly over time is a life decision. How does it impact? Are you together? All those things, problems do not begin at the money level, problems begin emanate elsewhere. How we make those decisions from the Word of God. Then these guys, you are still growing older. Now you are between 40. By the time this time you have stabilized. This time you are already a manager. This time your income is at the top. And this time also is when all sorts of pressure. Saizi wewe ni mzee wa kanisa. Kajura. You are head of department, head of mathematics. In your school. Well, you are the top. You are chief executive. You are whatever it is. And I can tell you all these pressures are causing society pressure, family pressure. Because this time you already have teenagers in your house, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Those of us who have brought up teenagers. Peter. Isn't it? This is no longer the child you are holding hand. Now let's go to Shosho's place. They tell you, I am not going. So if they tell you they are not going, so what do you next? John, what do you do next? So if you leave them, you will go. Isn't it? You know, those are part of pressure, the family. You get? Yeah. So people are looking at you, happy man, casual. But there are a lot of things that you are going through, not just of being a counselor, but being a family member at that level, being a member of society, because society also in general has expectations, isn't it? Yeah. Workplace. You had the number of jobs he told us he has. That has to be where in Kenya and Rwanda, Africa. You had this stage of life. There's a lot of pressure. This is what I call donkey stage. Umebeba mpaka donkey amechoka. It is reality. So you have to begin to be very intentional about the things to do and things not to do. Zikina, you just have slowly. Because again, I'm saying, we are talking about money matters. But we said life goals are almost equal to financial goals because they impact on your finances one way or One or the other. You become sick because you have carried too much. What happens to your finances on the other side? It might force you to retire early because you never really did what? You never made the right decisions when you needed to have made those right decisions, so that then you don't become too much overwhelmed. So before you rush to whatever, so here you have to seriously be intentional about beginning to think about how you retire. Because now this guy, he probably does not even have a home for his family. And he's getting towards 50. This person did not even save, did not invest. This person made those decisions we are talking about. He's the one who was buying those Prados. He's the one who was going to live in Kilimani and all those other places. Now he's realizing a little bit too late. By the time you begin to realize those things, unaanza kushikwa na high blood pressure and all those other related problems. Are you together? So it means that you need to understand these things so that you begin to plan early and be as realistic with the decisions that you make as early as possible without looking at your neighbor. Because you do not have the same, all of us are not the same. You don't go to you don't work in the same place. Professor Hapanatuapia is the most idle person. You believe he's idle? Did you believe him, by the way? So if you believe Professor is an idle guy around, you will be in a lot of trouble, isn't it? Because he knows how he's making his money, he knows how he's managing his time. He knows, because he still tells us he ends up in the class, the professor, there's a payslip waiting for him somewhere. He knows how he's doing his things. Yeah, so next. So this age, next. And so we're beginning now to get towards time of retirement. And sometimes you realize that you made certain mistakes and you begin to panic. You begin to panic. You begin to taking certain risks that you should not be taking at this age. You begin wanting to start businesses. You have never been a good businessman or woman all these years. All of a sudden you want to tell us that you, at 50, you have discovered. He has told us that he has tried to become a counselor for the last 12 years. It means the vision did not begin now at this age. It is something that always was driving, isn't it? Yeah. But if you want to begin new things completely at age 50, past, you really must be very sure that that is the direction you want to go. Ama? In Kenya today, look at the average age professor of MCAs is what age? MCA? Yeah? They're in their 20s and 30s. MCAs especially. It means they are already politicians within themselves as early as, isn't it? They are not beginning at age 50. So at age 50 is when you want to go being elected for the first time. Most likely something is wrong somewhere. Are you together? Because this is not the age that you become things that, it does not mean you cannot become. But many a times it might be something that has been running within you over time. If you are a business person, yeah, I hear that the owner of KFC started at 65, isn't it? But most likely, if you check, that was not his first business. Probably that was his first most successful business. But he was always a businessman. And so, this is not the time to begin those things. have loans, pay them off. It's time for capital preservation. Time to introduce your children to business. Time to monitor people around you. Time to reorganize your life. Slowly by slowly, slowly to reorganize at that age. And this age of past 60, sasa wewe wacha kushughulika na mambo mingi ya kukusubua mwanakaliano. Mwanakaliano he comments. And this is, but anyway, you need to be careful, even taking care of your health. You know, sometimes wazee want to tunajiachilia. It is not, you should not neglect yourself. All right, structure your wealth properly, and just relax and enjoy this life.
Mm-hmm.
If you never even made money, be at peace yourself that you never made money. Yeah, because if you never became a professor, you think you become a professor past 60. And you even was never an academician, now you, yeah, see as if there are some mistakes you made. You know, just accept that I made those mistakes and I cannot be able to recover. Yeah? Yes, that is you. It happened, you can't roll the clock back. That is why, if it is possible for you to hear some of these things when you are much younger, those of us who are in their 20s, do not imagine that life is too long. You can see, like, we are saying every 10 years, something else. Every 10 years. Before you know it, when were you? 10 years back. Where were you? You might think that 10 years from now is a very long time. Si ni juzi tu tumechagua the new president. Si we are saying next year tunachaguana tena. Those are 5 years. This is just 5 years. Sidio, we are saying he has ruled for 5 years. But we are saying next year, because we are on the 4th year, isn't it? Time moves very fast. So by the time, if I look back, when I started voting myself, I have voted very many times now. Kwanza nikiongeza zingine za referendum huko katikati. Ile wanachukua na ndizi. Ile the times nimepakwa hii kidole rangi eti ninachaguana. So time moves very fast, that's what I'm trying to say. But it looks like it is just yesterday. So I think that is important for all of us. Now move. Because I'm now getting close to finishing. So if you're investing with us, there is this product that we call Investor. Now this product is a very good product. It's a flagship product for AMICA. It has a guaranteed rate of interest at 10%. Now, when you have put in money there, and you are borrowing from us, you get preferential rates if you have saved well. For example, if you have what take a loan of 3 million and you have 1 million shillings, we pay at 12%. You pay that loan at 12%. If you multiply that million by 5 times, you get, say, 5 million, you pay at slightly higher, about 14%. So in other words, the more you have saved, the lower the interest that you pay on loans. That is why you talk about preferential borrowing rates. Now, this plan and this investor can help you pay education for your children. How does it do that? Assume over time you have saved like 5 million Kenya shillings. And you are getting 10% every year. 500,000 in Kenya, if your child is in the university, that child can even go to a parallel program and that money will pay for your child education. So rather than you putting money in an insurance, because you know the money we save in an insurance for education, what they guarantee you is that that is the money you will withdraw and pay school fees with. Here we are telling you, you save well, you will use the returns to educate your child, especially as they go for the higher education programs. So it acts also as an education plan. For your retirement, watoto wakishamaliza kusoma, then that 500,000 it becomes part of your retirement package because it will still be coming on an annual basis. Meaning, the more you save, the better return you get, and you can take care of your retirement. Again, in case you really need to withdraw that money, it just give 60 days notice and you get back your money as an investment. And of course, we usually give a life cover. If you have a good saver, we pay the last expense for you. The 100,000 shillings is guaranteed. You don't even need to pay for any premium towards that. That is the program that we have called Invest. It's a good program. You don't need to have a lot of money to put there. It is slowly by slowly. But you need to be a very persistent and consistent saver. Because now, think about somebody who doesn't have any other form of investment. Think about somebody working here abroad and you are able to put together about 50,000 every month. And you are pushing it there, pushing it there, pushing it there, pushing it there. By the end of 1 year, you have your 600,000. If you're able to do 100,000 by the end of 1 year, you have your 1.2 million. And you continue. In fact, I encourage people that even when dividends are paid, you don't even have to withdraw that money, just plow it back, plow it back. And did you know if today you had like 3 million shillings and you left it in that account for 7 years without adding a shilling, that money is going to be double. It means if you are also continuing saving, in about 3 years, that money can easily double. And you can go and do your calculation on an Excel and see what it means to you. An Excel sheet, assuming the rate is 10%, and this is how I am saving, you will do the maths for yourself. I wonder what it actually means. Because then you do not have any reason to say that I do not have money to invest or I cannot invest. They are saying investment is for everybody. Are you together? Now, if we compare that with what God, I have seen a lot of people nowadays, anytime you tell them about this product, they tell you money market, money market, money market, money market. Especially the younger people, nowadays they are talking a lot about money market. Let me just draw some parallel between that and this product. Rate of return. Today, if you look at the rate of return for the money market, for at least for the companies that you can vote for, is actually well below 10 or 9%. You can go check for yourself. Go check all those big companies that offer money market and see where the rates are. They will be around there. Of course, it may go up 12%, but there are some companies there that I don't want to talk about a lot now. But that's where they are. Again, looking at even where the TB rates are in Kenya today, those are the rates that you get. We are talking about 10% ourselves for that product. Guaranteed return is 10%. For money market fund, again, there is a lot of fluctuations. We are guaranteeing for them, there is a lot of fluctuations. Access to that money. You can, access to credit, you cannot borrow against money market fund. You can easily, we actually lend against the deposit in the SACCO. Withholding tax, For the SACCO, the dividends on the SACCO is 5%, money market fund, it is 15%. The investment horizon, ideal for long term, although money is not that available on call, but the money in the money market fund is available on call. What does that mean? I don't know whether it qualifies then to be an investment. If I want this money now, I can get it. Is that an investment? Yeah? You know, any serious investment should be something you cannot easily get that money back. Liquidity is not that easy. Are we together? For a serious investment that is long term. Because many of the investments, when you're talking about leaving your wealth to your children's children, si vitu watakuja tu hapo waingie kwa account wakule hizo pesa in one day, ati ile siku utazikwa, the following day hakutakuwa pesa. That really is not a serious investment. That is why, although young people want to talk about money market fund like it's a very serious thing, when you seriously think about it as an investment, really for me does not qualify that much. And that's why you're saying accessibility of money. We are saying it is limited because we require you to give us like 60 days. SACCOs have put that to discourage you from just quickly getting that money. And it's for a purpose that you don't need. But if really you really need that money, in 60 days you get money. Then the accessibility for money market is easily available. In the mode of savings, you can do a check-off, you can do a standing order, and then you'll be saving them. The problem with the money market sometimes, in discipline, you save today, you don't save tomorrow, whatever, quite erratic. So again, we advise that if you want to get into a serious investment, just decide this is the kind of money I want to be saving, do a standing order, forget it. Lakini pesa in the money market, anytime I have an emergency, I can rush for. So you have not really set it aside for investment. So investment is money that you really decide to set aside. And that is money we even forget that is not available to you for your day-to-day activities. Now, when you think about investing in real estate investments, I'm just giving you some quick characteristics. Real estate is, you need very high capital outlay. Again, you are comparing the product you're talking about investor, you really don't need to have 50 million or 1 million or 3 million because I have to do this investment. If you have to invest in a house, in a construction, it calls for some serious money, isn't it? That's what you're talking about. For that other one, you don't need that. It is investment in real estate is very long term. Yes, you have to really think very, very long term because once you have put up this building, you can easily get that money. Or if you have bought this land, it has to be long term. You don't buy land and want to, unless you really it's business you are doing, not an investment, to buy it tomorrow, to sell it tomorrow. That's an investment. Again, highly liquid. You get into real estate, you can't convert that investment in cash easily. Average return is still average, and I want to demonstrate to you shortly. Compare return of 10% and return for real estate, like if you're putting up a house somewhere for rental. How do they compare? I will give you that comparison. And this is not easily achievable real estate projects because they call for a lot of money, which majority of the people do not. It is not for a very average person. And even because all of us try to get there, we end up making some very serious mistakes, like going to borrow expensive loans to put it up. or it takes very many years when you would have been doing something else for you to achieve the same. And of course, they're solid and stable. They are good investments if you can achieve them. They are not saying that they are bad. Now, I just want to show you an example, quick example, if you have an investment for a real estate in Muranga and another person is in Kamaki's Panel, this person in the cost for that in a plot in Muranga will cost 3 million shillings Muranga town. Somebody in Ruiru, it will cost them 10 million. Cost of construction is usually the same, plus or minus. Are you together? Usually doesn't change much. So the person in Muranga ends up with 53 million cost. The person in Kamaki's Ruiru ends up with 60 million cost. The person in Muranga gets rent of 4.5 million a year. The person in Ruiru gets 7.5 million a year. The return on investment is the total annual rent divided by the total cost. Percentage is 8.4. The person in Kamaki 30 gets 12.5%. Now, if you were to think about somebody who had the same amount of money and put it in investor account, would you still put up that house in Muranga? No. Yeah? You don't put it in Muranga, isn't it?
Yes.
Because the return on investment for the investor product is 10%, and this one is 8.4%. And again, think about what it has taken this person to achieve this. Why have they gotten 53 million? So ask yourself how easy it is for him to even achieve. So if he has got that money, then he needs to put it in the best, isn't it? The best place possible so that he can maximize on what? On his return. Are we together? Now, if the person is in Royal, he will get 12.5%. But again, this has made an assumption that the house will be 100%
Occupied.
Isn't it? And that this house will not have the rent defaulters. So you have assumed that everything is working the way it should work. So if you want to assume this person ends up with an 80% occupancy, then you can take that 12% divided by 80%, it takes you where? Probably about the same 10%, if not lower. 9.something%. Are we together? And then the question you need to ask yourself is what has it taken this person to be able to get there? Now, even worse, another example, another quick example I want to give. For ourselves, we do a lot to own homes, right? If you go to a place like Ruda, for example, I had somebody staying in Ruda. How much is it to put up to buy a plot in Ruda? How much? Now go 40, 50 million like again. If you come to where we live around Thika, you can buy a plot, quarter plot at 10 million. Now, you put up a nice good home, you will not spend less than 20 million. So that takes you to 30. Now, if you are very lucky, ukopeshe hiyo nyumba, you will get 100,000 a month. Kama umekodisha, si wewe unakaa. Are you better? So 100 times 12?
1.2.
1.2. If you take that a million multiplied by 10%, how much you get?
3 million.
3
million.
3 million. isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you decided you will not build, chukua hiyo pesa weka investor. Get 3 million every month. Wewe mwende ukoboe, utapata watu wengi sana wanataka kukodisha hiyo pesa nyumba. And you pay them 100 and you can even negotiate because they are even looking for those tenants our party. But just assume you pay 100. Si unataka kwa nyumba ya isn't it? Na unabakisha pesa ngapi? 1.8
Million.
I'm just going to sometimes some of the decisions we make are just very emotional decisions. But in reality, you are not thinking seriously about them, the options that we have. So I'm trying to train you that before you make that decision you are making, also do a little bit of mathematics, because we started by saying that money is scarce and it needs to be used very wisely. Very good. So I want to mention quickly, that subsidiary called AMICA Ventures, we have some 2 projects that I just want to mention quickly. One of them is about building together. This new building together is in a place called Zimmerman, where we are inviting people to come and we put the house together. He said, for you to do it alone, this house will take you, an 8th-floor house will take you about 100 million, which you might not be able to achieve alone. But you can be able to achieve it easily together with other people. That's what we are calling a building together project. Now, this house has about 120 studios, costing about 100 million. Per share is 1 million shillings. There is funding that is available at the SACCO if you want to borrow, but we will advise that you do not borrow, you save it slowly. And the timeline for the project is 2 years, and the management is done by the AMICA Ventures Limited themselves. Now, in terms of rent, it's about 10,000 shillings a month. So for 120 studios is 1.2 million. Now, if you are to put in 1 million, net after the whatever the paying KRA and blah 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 is about 1.05. Now, when you calculate the return is about 12.6%. So and so that is the money that if you are taking the minimum of 1 million shillings, and 12.6%, it means you are getting what? About 12,600, isn't it? Yeah, 12,600. So if you do like 10% of that, you are thinking it means it is about 120 billion shillings, 120,000 shillings, or 126,000. Now, diversification, I said diversification is good. But again, look at, if you are getting into real estate, go into a place where you have the highest what? The highest return. Again, because it's not something you can be able to achieve alone. If you pull together resources, you do this one, you go to the next one, you go to the next one, you go to the next one, you actually can still be able to achieve your objective of becoming a landlord or owning a house without having to do it alone. And again, because you are far, rent will be collected for you, construction will be done for you, and again, you are dealing with an institution, you are not dealing with an individual. So that is a project that is available for you to take up. The next one is that we have a project in called Summer Estate around Maragua area. That project is, the plot is costing 1.8 million. You pay that %, the barracks you pay in 6 months. The plot is 50 by 100, and target market are city dwellers, people in the diaspora if you want a local home, and local entrepreneurs around that area. And then location is 75 kilometers from Nairobi, 10 kilometers from Rana Town, a place called Boko area. Along that road, very good neighborhood. There is going to be a perimeter wall, water supply, power, and all the manicured roads and so on. Tarmac road frontage, secured in the community. Again, you once you buy the plot at 1.8, then we have a number of house designs. There you could add according to your tastes. There are houses of about 7.8 million, 9.4, 12 million, again depending on your taste, because what is important is the gated community, and you put up, when you buy, you put up the house at your own time. And yes, all these others are details of how the house looks like, but then that is the two projects we have in housing. I have talked about our main investment is the investor, one product that is very good that helps you to save over time. If you want to get into real estate, especially for rentals, I think that other building together project is what is recommended. So mine is to say thank you very much for listening to me. I needed to take that this afternoon or this evening just to talk to us about money and investments and how we need to plan for your plan of finances presently for today, and even for the medium term, and even for future. And I must say thank you very much for listening to me. And I add with this statement that says from one of us that says the most important quality for an investor is their temperament, not intellect. You actually don't need to be a genius to invest. You just need to be an average person who really carefully makes the right decisions. Because this is about life, and God made us as people who are able to really manage our affairs in life. Otherwise, come and acquire the guys who are very, very wise, then the rest of us will be all dead, isn't it? So you don't have to be an intellectual, but just an average person to just do investment and live a quality life. So may God bless you. Thank you once more for listening to me.
Asante sana, Bwana CEO. When you were navigating through the lives, I was starting to get very worried. And I know many of us in this room have a lot of questions for you. I think you have scared us. But the truth is, it's never too late. And I think you also showed us wala wanaogopa sana kuna kitu inaitwa life insurance, unaweza nunua hivi. So I'm only holding this microphone because John stepped out, but I think it would be fair if we allow a few question and answers. So, Bwana CEO, we will answer some direct questions from the members who are here today, because kila mtu sasa atakuwa member wa AMICA at least.
By the way, they can join. There are people waiting in Nairobi to sign you up.
Okay. Kulikuwa na ile QR code, hebu onyesha hiyo pale, alafu kila mtu anaendelea akiuliza maswali. Mimi najua kuna ile kitu inaitwa initial deposit, hiyo tu ndio inaweza leta ile kwa kitu kwa Kiingereza inaitwa. Kuna ile kitu inaitwa kisungu mkuti, hiyo ndio deposit. Lakini kwanza tukifikisha mahali hiyo ingine huko Nairobi watakusana na nyinyi. So maswali moto moto, nani wa kwanza? na ukuje pale uulizie hapa ndio uonekane duniani. Na useme jina.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Franklin. You may not remember me, but we met about 3 years ago when I was still. Now, if I want to get a loan, and here I'm in the diaspora, you say that you would require payslips. How many do you need? And is it just the payslips as the only requirement you need?
Asante sana. Maybe we bank the questions. We want to see you at another person who has a question. Karibu mrefu.
Hello, a very good evening to everyone. Just a question to the CEO. The project you talked about in Zimmerman, has it started or not yet? Question number one. Question number two, what are the size of those bed, because you said it's a bed sitter? The studios. How big are they? And if somebody has to put a deposit, I think I didn't catch well, how much should you put the deposit? Because I believe it's not everyone who is in this room who is mathematical. Some of us never attended maths in the lessons, we are never there. So sometimes when you talk in technical bits, you know, some of
Specialized platform or experience in that.
Asante sana, hiyo ni John tu ayakuja alafu kupe CEO nafasi yetu.
I wanted to run on Florence. Also, you wanted to run on Florence about the building together. I've seen other projects, let me know the names, but if you invest, what do you get? Title, what, or anything on that building together? And how much is it, you said like $1 million, or is it the maximum? And that's my most question. What do you get?
Hiyo ni maswali manne. And then I will see you to answer those ones, and then we'll take another 4, and then we will move on to something else.
Okay, very, very good questions right there. If I want to get a loan, what kind of documents am I required to have? The most important thing is your income. Are you able to give your source of income? That is what is important. You might not have a payslip, but you have a bank statement. That is what is most important. The second, of course, most important thing is the security. We do not insist on guarantors because as we are far here, but if you have a security back at home, usually we take collateral securities. You have a plot or vehicle or whatever else, that is what we need. So the most important thing is proof of income. Yeah, so it may be a payslip, it may be a bank statement, it may be a whatever, but then explain your story. We shall listen to it. The Zimmerman, you can go to the Zimmerman. Florence is telling me there is a lot of mathematics there. But one is that this project has not started. We are conceptualizing it. So what we need at this juncture are people who are showing interest, because we're in the process of acquiring the plot. And we have seeded work, so we have proof of concept, so it's not something that we are really trying from whatever. Now, what you're saying is what you're saying is that those plots around there is about 50 by 75. You do ground plus 7, you are able to achieve about 120 units. Each unit there, the minimum in a good location is going for is 10,000 shillings. The total is 1.2 million shillings. So even before you talk about taxes and everything, assume that is the amount of rent that you get. So if you divide that by, if you are to take, the total whatever is 100 million. Okay, the cost is 100 million. If you are to take 1.2 times 12 is 14,400, isn't it? See, 14, yeah, 14,400. If you divide that by 100, we talk about 14.4%. Tunasikilana Florence, eh? Tunasema maneno ya hesabu. We are saying it is 1.2 per month, isn't it? Times 12 is 14.4 million. Are you together? And because 14,400, if you divide that by 100 million, times 100, so it is resulted, it gives you 14.4% return on investment. But we said there will be taxes, blah, 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 blah. This comes down to 12.6%. Are we together? So if you compare now with those other rates we were talking about 10% and brand, still makes a bit of sense. Now, if you decided that out of this project, you want to take, say, 10% of this project, it means you contribute 10 million, isn't it? Because 10 out of 100, 10% is equal to 10 million. So if you take 10 million, 10% of you, and you are talking about this, 10% of this, it means you get to about 1.4 million a year. Where we pay up. Or if you take 1% is 1 million, take 10% or 5% or whatever. And again, to answer the question of ownership there, it is you become a shareholder. You are going to be registered as a shareholder. So you own that project. So itakuwa ya AMICA Ventures plus all those other people who have invested in that project. They are all shareholders in that project. You go to the next one, those who have invested become the shareholders of that project. So it is not that it is going to be owned by AVA, it's going to be owned by AVA together with those who have invested. And they are going to do the construction. They will also do the agency of putting people there, tenants, and collecting rent. And then we'll put their back out here.
So technically you're saying you can't own that place because maybe you can own it and then find a buyer who wants to buy it at a higher price. So meaning you just having the shares on it. You can't buy the plot. You can't buy the studio itself.
You don't buy it as a studio, you buy it as a share. They are not for sale. You buy a share, you own a share. If you wanted to sell, then you can come look for somebody and sell your share. Transfer your share, and you go to AMICA Ventures and they transfer your shares from yourself to this other person. Then now you become them. Just like if today you wanted to buy shares for Safaricom, so that acquire the seed, we transfer shares there, make it as a power and put the power and continue earning. So that way is you get just a shareholder and you're registered shareholder. I don't care about company, they call what? Registrar of companies. You be listed there, shareholder. Ukufa is part of your estate. Yeah, it's part of your estate. Yeah. Yeah, the clarification, yes, clarify.
My name is Matthew. I'm only asking because I think a lot of people here have invested. think the late government guaranteeing us that we, or not the late government, obviously you being the CEO. Are you looking at that? Because I think when I look at these scriptures, all these scriptures here, I know they are invested, and I know they are real. But are we given a chair in a place that we can secure our properties?
Okay, I hope I'm understanding your question. Political instability. Of course, investment is a risk, and when I listened to Councillor here speak, and he said, investment is not for the faint-hearted. Because then what is the option of not investing at all?
But then again, why should I invest if I feel there's no security?
Obviously.
Why should I not buy a house in Bali or Manchester?
All right. Now, when you talk about investing, it is driven by your objective. First and foremost, before anything else. Now, if you want to buy a house in Manchester or wherever it is that you are buying, you know why you want to invest there. It needs to be informed by something. Am I investing there so that I can live there? Or am I investing there so that I can make money? There is one lady I visited here in this city. She lives here.
The reason I'm saying that.
Don't just finish that statement. And when we talked, I talked about all these things, and she told me one thing I'm not interested in is real estate. Because I am already an investor here in Kenya, not here in London, and I want to sell my property. Ikuje nikuletee hiyo pesa kwa hiyo investor yako, unanipatia hiyo 10%. Because I've been holding this house for a long time. Wakati ingine naona inanisumbua. I'm not getting now. Sometimes I'm not getting rent the way I should be getting. So I even want to go into money market or hiyo investor yako. That's why I want to keep the money. Because she is clear about what she wants to achieve. So before you get into investing, please be clear. Why am I investing? What do I want to achieve? Yes.
Okay, the reason I'm saying that is because, when I look at this, other people are all, I think most of the people I know here, they have invested in Kenya. And the question is this: does it make sense for me to buy that house, or if I was to buy maybe the same house with the same amount of money, even cheaper, because if I was to buy, like I use an example, like the same money or some place. And
I can answer you.
First of all, we are short of time. I understand what he's talking. One is political instability. We can only talk through our votes as voters. After that, we keep quiet until after 5 years. We are not responsible in running the government, but actually we invest in Kenya despite political instability just because it's our motherland. And we believe, if your mother is there, then you cannot move them. So you can put a house next to your mother. But I understand, Mato. There is something I want you to clarify. Yes. You are talking about investing together. You know the poison I spoke. Yes. These are men that we use after church. We go to the car park. We talk about the politics of ODM and Jubilee. And I think this gentleman, Kumeni, told us, we cannot talk, can we invest together? Do you understand? But I want you to clarify about this, because not all people meet in the car park. Are you bringing people who don't know one another into that project? Because that is very important. There might be someone who is listening from Russia. Yeah? There are boys who are working there.
and you want to invest with John, and they know one another. Clarify that one.
I think that's a very, very important question. You don't need to know one another. Because the person who knows all of you is AMICA Ventures Limited. What you need to put together, all of you, is that 100 million together. Because we are investors in Safaricom or Barclays or wherever, and we do not know each other. And we really need not know each other. The person who brings all of you together, the common factor, is who? The company itself, and that is why we are doing everything else for you. So you don't have to be bothered, but we will keep you posted about the progress of the project. So yes.
Yeah. I see you have a timeline for construction.
Yes.
Do you have a timeline for collecting the money? Do you have like a time where you think we have from 5 years to see how many people have invested and how many people have filled up the project? Because now you've introduced it to me now, you don't want to pay the money now. So how long do I have to wait to know that this project has started?
No, it's in less than a year, or about 6 months, we'll be knowing that this, yeah. Yeah.
So for 1 unit, you're saying someone has to invest like 1 million, yeah?
That's what you're calling one share.
One share.
It's not a unit, because if you even find the unit is very slightly less, the cost is slightly less than 1 million, about 833. Because if you take 100 divided by 120, it's slightly less than 1 million. But you say 1 million is what makes sense.
And that one share, sorry.
And you can buy as many shares as possible.
But for that one share is what I get 12,600 per month.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Net.
Net. I wanted to ask, for example, if you had already bought a plot at home and you wanted to build but you don't have the money, is AMICA able to
give you a loan?
Yeah, to build the structure.
Yeah, we can give you a loan. Remember, I advise you. We'll give you a loan. That's the business we are in. Lend money to people. Are you there? But again,
no, I wanted to ask, do you build or you just give me the loan? That was the
or if it is yours, you just give him money to build it. Because the project is yours. Yeah, the project is yours.
About shares, we have a platform for shares for AMICA. I'm sorry I left out.
Oh, shares,
buying and selling of shares.
For the SACCO.
For the NSC or something.
SACCO shares are not tradable in the stock exchange. Yeah. They're not tradable. Of course, we have been having discussions with the Nairobi Stock Exchange lately. They called us for a meeting late last year. There are discussions to open an account for SACCO shares for people who want to sell. They go to a certain desk and they place their shares. Yeah. Before long, I think they're going there. But for now, no. Yeah.
I think on that, the other question on that, do you do shares?
Yes.
One.
But no, boy, a question that John asked, we do not trade in shares for the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Yes, Katibu?
My name is Johnson. I was asked a question, maybe probably you can explain a little bit of what we need in the group account.
Or what you need?
Yeah.
Okay. What you need to open a group account is a registration. A registration, if you are at home, you can register with the CBU or social development, whatever it is. You go to whatever it is. Ministry of Culture and Social Services, and you register, you bring that certificate which you renew every year. But now, if you are this far, I think the best way is to do company. Isn't it? Like, I think was
maybe I can explain.
Or you can't do that.
When we came together, because we didn't have a company, the manager put us together, and he was able to get us someone to register for us CBU, community-based organization. I think that's what it's called. That one you don't need a lot of, it's just a government to know that name trade. And then when we had saved and they were to buy for us a land near Keno, then they advised us, now you better graduate to a limited company. So we were still called Treza Investment, but now we just registered it. It was now a business. So you can start, that registration is quite, maybe it costs 500 or 1,000. And it is legally recognized. So those are probably. No, actually we were here. So the branch manager of Keno, she's the one who linked us with the Register of Societies. And they came there, I think one of us was there. So you can do it when you are here. Do there.
Yeah, we can. If you write to that email, diaspora at AMICA, write that email, diaspora at AMICA, co.ke, or call that number. Is a lady who will pick that call. Then they will guide you into what you actually need to do. Yeah, those are the details there. She will actually be able to help. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Joshua Chani. I was also Joshua. I was asking the part of the comparing with the other MMF, like CIC, which are giving 9%. I was asking in the investment part, the one you compare like CIC, how much excessive minimum is accounted? We have also a matrix which is a minimum is 250. Viewers, how much is it comparing to those?
Okay. Our savings minimum is 500 shillings a month. 500 bob. So you can be saving 500 shillings.
I'm asking to my MMF. My market.
Yeah.
You see, you have part of that which are 2% investment.
That investor account is the one I'm talking about.
Okay, 500.
Yes.
So our minimum is 500.
500.
What is the interest?
Interest I think is 10%, guaranteed 10%.
10% tax free?
No, there's a tax of 5%. When I was comparing, the MMF and our investor product, I said the tax for MMF is 15%. The tax for interest on investor accounts is 5%. You see that? The line number 4, with the holding tax, 5% and 15%. Yeah.
And you tell them you don't have MMF.
I was just trying to show. Alison, because that's why I showed this one and also showed real estate. Remember, I'm just giving education generally. Yeah. Mine is just education generally about savings and investments and money matters, not just the products that we have, for just general information for you. Yes.
Asante sana. CEO, asante sana for that knowledge. I have one question. On the 1 million unit. So for some of us who are probably thinking of taking out whatever we put in there as the 1 million, perhaps within the next 10 years, is there a reinvestment opportunity? So my 1 unit then goes and reinvests again and again, because I don't want to take it out now.
Actually, that's a very, very good question. You can see how many titles we are saying that we have issued. Over 1,000 titles. But what we are realizing is that there is a bit of fatigue in buying of plots. And again, those plots are just lying there, adding in nothing. There are also a lot of risks associated with land. And so we are now beginning to move into housing. And then we are realizing that one of the gaps that is there is that the majority of the people are not able to achieve it on their own. And we are here to offer that opportunity for people to come together, put up this house. Now, when we continue taking rent and putting it where you advise us to put it, if you tell us that when the next project comes, because we are not doing it to stop, we are doing it to do another one, and another one, and another one, because that need will always be there. So yes, there is opportunity for you to invest and reinvest and reinvest.
differently, or do I just have to register with them?
Of course, if you go to the next project and you want to become a shareholder, then you have to become a shareholder in that.
Okay, for investor deposits, you said it is 500 minimum.
Yes.
Savings. How long is long term?
How long?
It's long term. You said it is a long term project, not a short term. Like
You,
how many years?
for investor, you save mpaka saa ile utatosheka. Like I have been a member of SACCO myself. I have worked for over 30 years. I have never stopped saving.
And there is no withdrawal, isn't it?
I keep saving.
So I can't withdraw it.
Sorry?
It's deposits. I can't withdraw, yeah?
You cannot withdraw and you can withdraw at the same time. Because we said, for you to withdraw, you need to give 60 days notice. Meaning, it's only, you only limit it whenever you withdraw so that you don't wake up one morning and just want your money. So that you're always thinking like this money is here. That's how SACCOs are structured, so that they can give you the discipline to save and not to keep coming to collect the money. Okay? Because the whole idea is to help you accumulate savings over a long time. Now that long time is easy to define it.
So if I register as an individual,
As a member, yes.
As a member,
yes.
It's a membership. My husband has to register his own as well. And
Yes, separately.
Okay.
Yeah. You as an individual, him as an individual.
Are you asking to be a member of a SACCO or to invest?
As a member, she's asking about a member of the SACCO.
Ah, okay.
Invest, I think she also has.
But they can also do a
And
joint
they can also do a
yeah.
joint
account.
account.